What is up, everybody? It's Scotty here with Flat Track Flashback. And before we get into today's video, just a couple of formalities I want to get out of the way. First thing, if you like what we're doing here on the channel and you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button down below. You can also click that bell if you want to be notified whenever new videos post, or you can leave that unchecked if you want to just watch at your own leisure. We appreciate everybody who likes, dislikes, and comments, and of course all you subscribers who help support this channel and really keep us motivated and keeps this thing alive. If you want to engage with us outside of the YouTube channel, you can also follow Flat Track Flashback on Instagram. On Instagram, we are at Flat Track Flashback. And if you want to shoot us an email with criticism, comments, questions, whatever, you can email us at flattrackflashback@gmail.com. So got those little slide out bars up there for you. Feel free to reach out that and holler at us. But yeah, let's go ahead and roll that flyby. So I really wasn't planning to make a video this week. But when something extraordinary happens, you got to talk about it, right? You can't just let the momentum die. So Ventura, California, the West Coast little swing started off, and it started late. We had a bit of a delay. Rain in the area throughout the day pushed the program back and definitely gave the people working on the track a lot to do. A lot of track prep going on throughout the day in pretty rough conditions. Very, very bumpy. Especially around the inside of the racetrack. Practice and qualifying was intense. It was a little sketchy, especially around the low line, like we said. Riders in the twins class that were having trouble. We saw Briar Bauman, Brandon Robinson run into some issues down there. Trevor Bruner almost went over the handlebars. I have no idea how he stayed on that bike after kissing the fender. Crazy save by Bruner there. And then later in the night, in the heat race, Dallas Daniels talked about how the track even went through more changes, and even with those conditions, his air suit went off going into turn one during his heat race. So treacherous conditions at times out there. And throughout the rest of the night, it seemed like running the bottom was going to be a little difficult. There were a few riders who were able to make it work, but it seemed like the best way to get around that Ventura racetrack was to be up on the high side. And there was somebody who made that look so good. Does he have your attention now? After finding success the night before Ventura down at Kern Raceway, Cage Tadman parlays that success into an absolute clinic of a debut. His American Flat Track, his first race at the American Flat Track Pro level, and the dude comes in and, well, the rage was all the rage. He swept the night. Fast time, yep. Heat race, got it. First impressions challenge, go ahead and cash that check. And then come main event time, other than that opening lap, dude was gone. He had that KTM hooked up, and it's just one of those amazing things about this sport. Flat track racing is freaking awesome. Try to keep it PG on this channel. We don't like to swear, but if you talk to me outside of this, sometimes they slip. Man, Cage was absolutely cooking all night long, and it's so awesome to see riders who are just like small family efforts come out, and not only like to do it just on a nightly, like a random night, but being from California in your debut, like what an epic night of racing for Cage Tadman. We're very fortunate to get chat with him leading up to Ventura. And, I felt like for me, if he had gotten in the top 10, that might've been a little bit overachieving. But then homie comes out and just destroys him basically. He mentioned after his heat race interview, after a solid battle during that heat race, Evan Renshaw gets the lead early after a pretty sick move on the start, got pushed wide, cut through the field, led the first couple of laps, but Cage gets around the outside of him, and then Evan nearly goes down before having to have a race-long battle with Sadoff for a dash spot that saw Chase up into the wall at one point. But after that heat race, Cage mentioned that he'd found confidence in himself. Man, all smiles throughout the night. And then he wins the Dash for Cash going away. So the main event comes around, and we're like, okay, is he going to be able to keep this going? Is he going to keep the dream night alive? Or are Tom Drain and Chase Sadoff just going to do what Tom Drain and Chase Sadoff do and just get to the front and dominate this class? But Cage, Even though he got off behind Chase for that first lap, he gets around the outside of him, takes the lead, starts to gap a little bit. Red flag comes out, pretty gnarly crash, looked like, between Cole Fredrickson and Bronson Pierce. Hope you guys are both good to go and can get fully recovered. On the restart, not phased. Cage gets the lead. Chase is sticking close to them for a while, but then Cage just hits that high line and starts to check out. Had that KTM just looking like a rocket ship around the outside. Our cameras were losing him. You see the trail, that single line coming off the back tire, coming off the corners. And there were several moments where I'm looking at him watching, like, how is he not losing the front end here? Just it looked like it was going to get away from him, but Cage staying light on the bike, just full charge mode, lets it dance underneath him, grabs a handful, rockets off the corner. Just a true bond between man and machine. They were hooked up on this night. You love to see this. Maybe if you're one of these riders who had to finish behind him, you don't. But hey, it's flat track racing. It's racing, man. Every weekend there can only be one winner. So cool to see Cage do that. He's the first rider not named Sadoff, Kopp, or Drain to win an AFT singles main event since Trevor Bruner won the Castle Rock TT in August of 2023. We're coming up on almost 2 years of only 3 different winners, but Cage breaks through. Man, I hope somebody can pick this kid up for a full-time ride, help find some funding for the rest of the year. It's going to be awesome to watch him. Chase Sadoff is able to hold on to second spot. Terrence Santero gets on the podium as well, another California rider. His first podium of the year, gets the better of Tom Drain, and Chase is able to continue his chase of Drain as he closes up on the championship. Touching on that in a second. It was really cool. Another thing about Sadoff's bike on the weekend, and Kristen Beat did a report on this, was the 3D muffler, the 3D printed muffler that Chase was using. And Kristen had a really cool report before the main event, and also a conversation with Brian Bigelow earlier in the day as they talk about that Calico part that they had on the bike. And just neat little tech aspects coming into the sport. And with those points, as we spoke about, Chase is now only 2 points behind Drain going into Chico. Trevor Bruner salvaged a 5th place on the night. Won his heat race, was in the dash, but a 5th place was all they had on the evening. He is 3rd in points, 17 back. Right now, Cody sits 4th in points. And then you got Terrence Santero and Evan Renshaw, each with a podium on the year, sitting tied for 5th in the AFT singles points. So we'll see if the rage keeps on raging throughout the rest of the week out there in California. Excited to see everything go down up in Chico. As we shift gears to the twins class, we see another night where a rider has to overcome some hurdles. Kind of the same rider, actually, overcomes a lot of hurdles to win in the Super Twins class and complete the Salinas Sweep of Ventura, and that's Briar Bauman. Briar did not have the best night. He wasn't having a dream night like Cage was having. He mentioned in an interview that he couldn't buy speed earlier in the day. They qualified 9th. Briar's second row of his heat race gets into a battle with Logan McGrain back there for 3rd, while Dallas Daniels and Brandon Robinson are pulling away. But Briar was able to get clear of McGrain, turn the fastest lap of that heat race, and nearly got by Robinson for a dash spot as they were side by side coming to the line. So Briar showing a lot of promise heading into the main event. Going to have a second row start, but we've seen throughout the year, not starting on the front row doesn't exactly mean you're out of the race. Dallas won from the second row in Daytona on the opening night. Briar won from the 3rd row at Sonoy. We also got to give a huge shout out and major props to Dan Bromley, who Memphis Shade sponsored Ventura Short Track. Memphis Shade sponsors Dan Bromley and that Suzuki. Bromley able to get the best of Jared Vanderkoy in the heat race and the Dash for Cash. Bromley getting his first Dash for Cash appearance and win here on the season, and looking pretty good throughout the night. Bromley was looking like he might be a dark horse to win the race. Just very strong all day, very consistent. And Vanderkoy was able to make that low line work. One of the only riders who was looking good on the bottom of the racetrack, especially earlier in the day. And we would see how they would parlay that skill set into the main event. One of them would definitely be in factor toward the front, especially later in the race. When the main event got going, Dallas Daniels gets out front early, and then Briar Bauman gets locked into a battle with Logan McGrain again, and Logan put together an awesome ride. He was up in the mix, fighting toward the front of the pack, was in this knockdown, drag-out fight for 3rd for a while, almost crashed, got into the back of Davis Fisher, got in a little hot in turn 1, and kind of sapped his momentum, sort of took him out of that fight for the front. But he had that early race battle with Briar, and then when Briar was able to clear McGrain after the first couple of laps, he chased down Dallas, passed him around the outside, and then was making that high line look so good. He said that's the best line for the Harley on the night. It's where they found their speed. And behind him, a lot of things happening. A lot of great battling back there. As Dallas kind of settled into second, you had Max Whale, Jared Vanderkoy, Brandon Robinson, Davis Fisher, James Ott. We mentioned Logan McRain. I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out. Bromley was up in there in that mix. Just guys just dicing it out for that last podium spot. Max was looking good on the bottom of the racetrack. He was able to keep that Royal Enfield down there and was running third for quite a while. This race also got red flagged after a really tough crash for Brandon Price, his second big incident on the year. Had that big get off in Daytona and another one there in Ventura. So, Brandon, we hope you're all right and can continue this West Coast swing. I have not seen anything posted by Brandon at the time of recording this. Obviously, that might change, and we just hope you all the best, or wish you all the best, and hope you can line back up in Chico. On the restart, and actually before the restart, Jared Vanderkooi had started to make some inroads on the leaders. He kind of gotten clear of that battle for third and was chasing down Dallas and Breyer, and this restart gave them a chance to get right up behind the number 3. And unfortunately for those two, they would get locked in an absolute knife fight for second place and allow Breyer to pull away. Dallas and Jared were just putting on a show, and Brandon Robinson had the best seat in the house as those two passed each other several times throughout the remainder of that main event. Ultimately, Breyer comes home, back-to-back Ventura wins, back-to-back wins on the season, back-to-back nights of having to overcome an unfavorable starting spot and a rough start to the day. He was quick time in Sonoy, but still had to start third row of the main event down there. In Ventura, struggling throughout practice and qualifying, makes some inroads in the heat race, and then comes out with the victory. His 28th of his career, and now 2 apiece for Dallas and Breyer on the season. Behind them, Dallas comes home second. Jared Vanderkooi comes home in third for his first podium of the year. And this does shake up the points a little bit. Now Breyer is the points leader over Dallas as we head into Chico. Those two have really separated themselves from the pack. They're already a full race ahead of Brandon Robinson. And then you've got Davis Fisher and Jared Vanderkooi locked in a pretty good battle for third. And Davis had to ride a good bit of that Ventura main event without a seat. And I can only imagine how that was. Far from peak comfort. Big battle up front between Breyer and Dallas, and a big battle back there for third between those 3 riders, kind of who we figured was going to separate themselves from the field. But Dan Bromley brings that Suzuki home in 5th, a great showing by that machine. One quick thing about Breyer leading the points, looking back through the past few years, they've had those struggles on the KTM. This is the first time, from what I can see, that Breyer has led the championship since April of 2022, which is crazy to think about. Toward the back end of that year, 2022, Jared Mees was able to get the points lead and kind of hold off everybody. Even though Breyer had a strong summer, Mees was still holding down the point lead, it seemed like. But now Breyer's back on top of the standings and has put together just an amazing season. Has stuck there with Dallas, and those two continue to write another chapter. This is going to be a fun year with those two guys battling at the front of the twins class, and we'll see if anybody else can break through and become the third winner on the year when we head up to old Silver Dollar Speedway. Back-to-back weekends of racing. You got to love it. Just keep this momentum going. Additionally, the Build Train race class was on display in Ventura, and they got their third winner in as many races. Maricela Rodriguez comes home the victor on that night, and she held off a late charge from Emma Gotch, who closed a pretty solid gap really fast in the last couple laps of that race. Emma gave it her all and almost caught up with Rodriguez toward the end, but like we said, Rodriguez becomes the third winner on the year, joins Gotch and Taya Little as winners in the Build Train race class on the season. So yeah, just a quick little look back at Ventura and all the stuff that went down there. Series heads up north to Silver Dollar for the next AFT race, but there's a lot of stuff going on before that. Thursday night, you got Lodi. Friday, you got Cycle Land. We mentioned Silver Dollar on Saturday for AFT, and then back to Cycle Land on Sunday. So if you're out in California and you need to get your racing fixed as a fan or a rider, there's a lot to choose from. Thank you guys so much for supporting this channel. Thank you for supporting Flat Track. Please make sure you're following those YouTube channels, checking out those podcasts, whether it's new episodes, old episodes. We just appreciate your involvement, appreciate you checking out this channel and supporting us. Thank you to the riders, fans, sponsors, everybody that's involved in this amazing sport, this great big family that we all have. Flat Track Racing, like we said, it's freaking awesome, and it's given us a lot this year. Yeah, there's some stuff we could sort of look at as less than favorable. Some, there's a lot of things we can do better, but I'm really stoked with sort of the social media coverage of the sport this year. And again, the racing has been incredible. We've gotten to see some great stuff, some super cool storylines throughout the just first quarter of the year. We got 12 rounds to go. We got one coming up this weekend before we have a lull again. Oh well. we're not going to dwell on that. We're going to look forward to Chico. We're going to have a good time. So thank you guys again for watching. Like we said at the front of the video, you can follow us on Instagram, email us, subscribe, unsubscribe, like, dislike, comment, don't comment. We're just glad that you showed up and checked this out. Love you guys. Take care.